Our weather team is tracking the storm for you this evening. So Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley showing us how the next few hours are going to play out. Meteorologist Christian Morgan is going to be in Myrtle Beach, of course, ahead of Idalia's arrival. And meteorologist Claire Fry has your look ahead as the storm moves through over the next few days. So our meteorologists, they're answering your questions about the storm or anything really hurricane season related. So you can text them to us. The number is 336-379-5775. We're going to be answering those questions that you text in just a few minutes. Okay, but before we get to everyone else's text questions, I get to ask you questions.
Lots of questions, right? Everyone wants to know different things about these storms.
Absolutely. But first and foremost, let's just say, where is it now and what are we looking at?
And we always dig into every storm. We want to get you the good information about here. First things first, I do not think it's going to be bad for us. Just want to get that out there. But we do have weather to talk about. So right now, the latest storm stats for you. It is a tropical storm. Idalia is. Winds are at 70 miles per hour. This is the advisory as of 5 o'clock. So just about half an hour ago, they had mentioned moving at 21 miles per hour to the north and to the east. That's pretty impressive. We're going to follow that going through South Carolina and North Carolina really through tonight and tomorrow morning. I mentioned it won't be that bad for us. What I mean, we're not going to expect to see a lot of rain from the system. Almost all of us should have less than 1 inch. We're just starting to see the southernmost counties of our area get a little bit of rainfall. Now, winds will be a little bit more noticeable, but still doable. 20 to 30 miles per hour gusts will start overnight tonight. When you wake up tomorrow morning, it's pretty darn windy. It could be gusting as high as 30 miles per hour, and it will stay breezy throughout the day tomorrow, but the sun will come out. Take a look at the futurecast. Rain lingering only through early tomorrow morning. We're done with it by about 8 to 9 a.m., and then that sunshine truly will be coming out for the rest of the day. The track on Idalia is rapid and moving quickly to the east. It'll go toward Myrtle, toward Wilmington, and out to sea. It's already weakened to a tropical storm. It is expected to stay that way through tonight and into tomorrow. We're going to follow the forecast for you every step of the way as we get a little wind, a little rain here locally, but that's the latest on Idalia here at home in our part of the Carolinas.
All right, so Idalia was a powerful hurricane when it hit Florida this morning as a Category 3, and it packed maximum sustained winds of about 125 miles an hour. The storm's impact was felt the length of Florida's Gulf Coast, with storm surge that submerged low-lying areas. The power went out in more than 500,000 homes across Florida. By midday, though, about half of those people had their lights back on.
Utility workers are actively working to restore power in all affected areas.
That building on the end down there is going to come apart.
Oh gosh, it's gotten worse.
Idalia reached Georgia as a Category 1 hurricane, knocking out power to about 60,000 homes in Georgia. That number, though, is expected to climb. So next in line for impact, well, is South Carolina, and that's where WFMY News 2 meteorologist Christian Morgan is now. All right, Christian, what are you seeing out there? It's looking better than it did before.
A lot of wind and a lot of rain so far, Tanya, and it's coming in waves. Those bands that we talk about, it rains really heavy, the wind really picks up for a while, and then it kind of calms down, and you almost see a little bit of sunshine peeking out. Let me point out one thing to you. You notice already, even ahead of the biggest part of the storm moving in, we have high surf and really high waves. That could be an issue later on this evening. Now, one thing these folks down here know that we don't talk a lot about in the triad are a thing called king tides. So we have a full moon tonight, and the gravitational pull from that full moon actually creates higher tides. So this area here in Garden City Beach floods all the time. These folks that live around here or vacation around here know that very often. So not only do we have the king tides, we also have the storm surge and the potential flooding that are coming in with the heavy rain and all of that ocean water that's being pushed on shore. So that's one thing we'll be watching tonight. Even if the rain doesn't play out to be a big factor, the wind starting to pick up, and on the backside of that storm, the wind could really be a tough thing to deal with tonight through early tomorrow morning. Of course, we'll have live updates for you all evening long, plus we'll be back in the morning on the Good Morning Show with live updates from Garden City and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
More preparations are being made across North Carolina's coast. Governor Roy Cooper issued a state of emergency, and folks are making their own preparations at home for the impending bad weather, like in Nags Head, for instance.
Anything loose will strap up, put somewhere even inside. Water line comes up to about there pretty much every time. I haven't seen it gotten past that in a good amount of years, but we'll keep an eye on it. Manio is going to be in the strike zone. we'll just see. We'll see what the forecast says.
I'm up on stilts. Yeah, I'm getting out of here.
In Brunswick County, they say heavy rainfall, gusty winds, storm surge, and a tornado threat are all possible, but flooding really is the major concern.
We are concentrating heavily on the fact that we are going to see a large amount of rain. That is going to result in flooding, and that's one of our biggest threats here in Brunswick County because it cuts off resources, it cuts people off from their ability to get out of their homes and our ability to get in to rescue them.
Of course, the big question for a lot of folks is this going to impact my Labor Day weekend plans? So meteorologist Claire Fry is giving us a look ahead. All right, tell us good news.
Good news is on the way, actually. A very big picture right here behind me in our futurecast. We're also keeping an eye on Idalia, of course, tropical storm as of right now, and this upper level front right behind it. That's going to be key in pushing this system offshore heading into Thursday afternoon and evening, slowly pushing offshore, and behind it, much drier and cooler air. Some would even say fall-like air. So a lot to look forward to, not only for Friday, but also as we head into the weekend. Notice by the afternoon and evening hours, we're back deep in the 70s. Much relief from the 80s and even 90s we've seen the past couple of weeks. And while we're going to be drier, also going to be feeling that humidity drop. You can see it swing back down into the 50s before slowly making our way back deeper into the 60s. Next couple of days heading into your holiday weekend, back in the lower and middle 80s, trending warmer. You'll notice into early next week. Full glance at your 7-day forecast into next week. Lots and lots of sunshine as temperatures trend back toward the 90s toward the week's end.
That is probably the best Labor Day forecast we've had in a really long time. All right, if you do head out to the beach this weekend, as well as closing out the summer season, either this weekend or next, officials are urging you to be careful if you're planning to swim, get in the water. If you're a poor swimmer, they recommend you just don't get in the water at all.
That water volume has to get back out to the ocean. So we're trying to educate on that aspect as far as that increased rip currents. You're going to see more of them because we have more water volume hitting our shoreline.
All right, so you need to remember to look out for the flags. Of course, red means that the surf is high or currents are dangerous. 2 red flags mean this is extreme danger, just don't get into the water. All right, so let's see if we can get some questions answered from our 2 meteorologists. So people want to know, will Franklin and Idalia come together and form one big storm?
This is a big question.
We've seen this a lot. And what do you think about this? The idea of 2 storms coming together doesn't usually work.
No, it really doesn't. And I mean, especially when you think about the upper levels of the atmosphere and 2 different systems rotating in different intensities and stuff. For anything, they're just going to kind of just do their own thing and kind of grow apart at some point.
Yeah.
And I mean, they are pretty far apart right now as we speak. Of course, 2 massive systems.
It's kind of like putting oil and vinegar together a little
Okay.
bit. You know, they're going to get close. This rarely happens. This is not going to happen this time. But if 2 storms do get close to each other, they kind of almost repel one another. They kind of do a little dance.
Okay.
And then they usually go their separate ways. If they do interact more, one of them can weaken and then kind of get absorbed into it. So it's not nice, but one dies and one survives.
All right, this pronunciation thing is the next question. Idalia or Idalia?
It is definitely Idalia.
It is. And just so you know, these names are always made up of the different countries that get hit by Atlantic hurricanes. Many speak Spanish, we speak English, some speak French.
All right, people are going to the coast. They're like wondering, will Wilmington lose power? If that's going to be a possibility.
Well, Claire Fry, you just came to us from Wilmington. Why don't
I
you take
did.
this one?
Of course, I will take this one. Not looking likely as of right now as the storm continues to weaken, especially within the next 12 to 24 hours. But of course, some areas that are more prone to more damage, of course, could see some power outages. But for the most part, we'll be all right.
Not widespread. Okay. This person says, what is the likelihood Idalia will redevelop after she leaves the East Coast and get out into the Gulf Stream off of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida?
Yeah, I think the current forecast does keep it. It doesn't have it weakening more. So basically kind of maintaining its strength currently. And it's actually going to head pretty close to Bermuda, which is odd because Franklin was just close to Bermuda.
Yep.
Okay. Well, those are our questions. You asked, they answered. I love this. This is the best. All right, we'll be right back.